now we're going to do some interviews. Maybe Naomi, you could come out with me.
Okay.
Linda, do you mind if we have a little interview right now?
Be my guest.
Awesome.
Please, please. Yes, Naomi.
What do we want to find out about Linda? I know some things that I can't ask. Honestly.
We're told not to.
We've been warned. So, Linda, you've lived a lot of different places.
That's right.
We mentioned Fairfield for over 20 years, but you also lived in, well, you came from New England, but you've also lived in San Francisco.
No.
No, where?
Oh, well, I lived in Iran for 2 years. I spent some time in Afghanistan during that time. I lived in Pittsburgh. I lived in the States. I've been to over 20 countries. And somehow I ended up here.
Oh, so you maybe gathered some advice along the way?
Oh, yes.
Yeah?
A lot of different places.
Do you want some advice woman to woman?
You know, I don't want to
Well,
I could use some. That'd be great.
yeah, woman to woman. Yeah, we could use some advice. So, say I haven't had tons of luck in Victoria, you know, would I be, should I go to...
Just any advice would be great.
Well, I'm going to give you just a general rule. If you kiss a frog, you get a frog.
Okay.
Have you ever kissed any frogs?
In disguise, they were frogs.
That's why I feel just the disguises, you know. That's what.
No.
No, right? It's true.
Oh, another bit of advice, but I think you know this. Gender is a fluid construct.
All right. Okay, let's unpack that a little bit.
By like fluid.
Well, I mean, a friend of mine was a male at one point, but now she's a female. So it's fluid for some people.
Beautiful.
Have you ever considered?
No.
You feel comfortable.
I feel comfortable.
It's, I feel as though in some places, the conditions for gender being more fluid are in place a lot more than they are in other places.
That's right.
Like UVic just got some gender neutral washrooms going on. And I know that's a very small point about gender being fluid, but it shows this energy of openness.
That's right.
Is that why you chose to stay in Victoria? Like that energy of openness towards progress, or do you feel like that's present here?
No. No. My situation is very different. I came here and I was married to someone who will remain nameless. That was the past. And now we're in the present, I hope, in this conversation. Right? Agreement. And after this marriage ended, this was my second legal marriage, I went through a bad period. And I just didn't feel that I could go back to my country, which was the States, even though I'm a card-carrying Canadian, and have been for years. But this was Victoria's always been quite strange for me and difficult. And the reason is because it was British. It's British.
Yeah.
And I'm from Rhode Island, which is Maine, Providence. The church was a Catholic church. Rhode Island is 66% Catholic. Providence has a large ITLO, Italian-American population. And then I come here, and it's nothing like anything I ever knew. People, when you talk to them, you're not supposed to touch them, you know. The church is they mean the United Church or the Anglican Church, and it's not a lot. Rhode Island and Providence was mainly working class.
Yeah. And Protestant, right?
Yes. No, well, no, it was Catholic.
So when you came here,
It was Protestant.
were they a bit touchy?
Yeah, no.
They weren't.
No, they weren't
The
touchy-feely.
British aren't touchy, right? Okay, right. Sorry. I should know that.
So it was a bit, and people felt, my ex felt I talked too much with my hands, I was too loud, you know, and coming from Iran, having lived in Iran to Canada, you know, it was a big adjustment. But coming here, it's a different energy. Sometimes it's such a cool energy, it feels like no energy. So here I am, and I decided to stay, and now I'm an elder at the Plum Street House. And that makes up for a lot of stuff.
You know, it's interesting. Linda calls herself the elder, but sometimes she's got a younger spirit than.
Thank you.
But yeah, thank you, Linda, for sharing. I guess we'll do some scenes now.
Okay, and if there's anything you ever want to know, come to me first.
Okay.
Okay. That goes for everyone. Go to